So I know that this isn't necessarily my usual MO when it comes to new releases. I usually listen and, promote progressive rock or metal music or things like that. So like Kasey Musgraves is kind of the furthest remove that you could get to my usual MO of listening styles, but she kind of falls within that same kind of camp that I have where I need something as a palate cleanser. I need something that's so far different than what I usually listen to help me reappreciate that which I love, because otherwise it's just going to be the same music all the time. You need to change things up. You need to get rejuvenated. But I don't want to have to just listen to things that I don't want to listen to. Like, I don't want to have to change things up just to change things up. And luckily, with the case we have here, it's something that I really love to listen to, and it's something that I've come back to. So without further ado, let's dive into it.
So I'm saying goodbye to the people that I feel.
Deeper Well by Kasey Musgraves. So Kasey Musgraves is an American singer-songwriter. Got her start kind of back in 2013. And it's interesting, I found out about Kasey with her Christmas music, because I friggin' love Christmas music from any and all singers, songwriters, bands, artists. If you put out a Christmas album, I'm going to listen to it. So I listened to a very Kasey Musgraves Christmas, as well as the Kasey Musgraves Christmas show, released in 2016 and 2019 respectively. And she had a much more of a country folk kind of singer-songwriter feel to it that I normally wouldn't necessarily mess around with. But the only thing was, I came onto the scene a couple years ago. So this was after she had released all her previous records, and I haven't actually gone back and listened to those outside of Golden Hour, which I have gone back and listened to and really enjoyed as well. But we are talking about her fifth studio album of Deeper Well. And I have to be, I've been loving this record. I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I've been loving this record. And I think part of the reason why I love this one so much was I wasn't allowed or able to build up my fan base myself for Kasey's music, so that I came to her basically with only her two Christmas records kind of behind my belt. So I didn't really have any idea of what to expect outside of the fact that, hey, she put out an album. I love her Christmas songs. Let's dive into it. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I know that her first two records, Pageant, Material, and Same Trailer, Different Park, were much more in the country vein of things. And hey, that's fine. If that's your music, that's your music. And I know a lot of artists that started in more of like the country western style of things and made the transition more into the Americana, even kind of into the pop realm. We're looking at like Taylor Swift is probably the most immediate example. And I know that was kind of what happened with Golden Hour, and then subsequently with Star-Crossed, where she was trying to get a little bit more accessible, trying to get more into the popular appeal. And I feel with Deeper Well, she's aligning herself more within, say, like the dream pop Americana style of music, rather than going more into the mainstream or popular side of music that she did with her past two. And in some cases, this really worked well with me. Like, you can see her contemporaries like Lana Del Rey on here, like Taylor Swift within her Evermore and Folklore era. Now, it never gets to the point of like where my heart bleeds within like a Wise Blood or Spelling or a recent favorite of mine, The Last Dinner Party, but it still kind of has that homegrown, authentic style of music that I really do gravitate towards. And some of the songwriting ship on here, it's a little messy, but I think that's kind of part of the charm of this one, because you are so authentic and so like brain to page. There's a lot of mess that's found within it, and that kind of comes with the charm. There's a lot of tracks on here that I thoroughly enjoy. The title track of Deeper Well, I really enjoy. Moving Out is a really fun one, as well as Sway. One of the things that I love about Kasey's presentation and her musical stylings and her song construction are the harmonizations that she has with herself. The singing is definitely front and center on all these tracks, and it's those harmonizations that she does within the vocal works that keeps me coming back for more. This can be found with Dinner with Friends and Jade Green. Honestly, I think it is most astutely found on the second, like the latter half of this album, especially right near the end with Heaven Is and Anime Eyes. I know that a lot of people might not necessarily enjoy Anime Eyes for a little bit more of the shall we say, juvenile subject matter. But I don't know, there's just an earnestness of anime eyes that I thoroughly love. And as somebody that grew up loving anime, seeing the, the allegories and the symbols and what she's talking about, I really enjoy. There's this kind of like star-crossed quality, this innocence, this naivete that's found in anime, specifically when you're dealing with love stories, that Kasey is able to grab onto and supplant onto this track, that I find very rewarding as the track unfolds. Now, this album, as I mentioned, is a little bit messy and not all the tracks work for me. Give Her Take Her, for example, the messaging behind that, I'm not a big fan, and I get it. It's this very yearning track. It's like if I were to take what I feel is enough, I would take everything. So it's that kind of like, I recognize that there's a selfish part of me and all that kind of stuff, but it's also kind of like that recognition, and I wish they kind of delved a little bit deeper into that, of when you don't fit, like when the person that you're with or seeing can't give you what you want. And I wish that they had delved a little bit deeper in that, and kind of, recognizing how much am I willing to put up with, how much am I willing to take and give that isn't quite reciprocal. Where's that dynamic working out? Same with Heart of the Woods. I wasn't a huge fan of. I just felt like the progression within the music didn't really evolve into something very, very satisfying in the end. I was just hoping for a little bit more of a resolution that's found within the music that I just kind of felt a little bit lacking. Same with Lonely Millionaire. And I get the sentiment of this track, and I do appreciate like where Kasey is coming from within this, but I wish she was playing a little bit more with the themes and a little bit more within the stylings of this. And I wish that the music kind of reflected that. It's still very whimsical. It's still very airy and ethereal, and I wish that there was a little bit more of a darker side to this, because some of these tracks she does play quite heavily with darker themes and tones that I wish bled within the actual music presentation itself. So in the end, I've been having a lot of fun with Deeper Well from Kasey Musgrave. It's honestly my favorite album from her outside of her Christmas stuff. I still have a very special spot within her Christmas music, but this one I actually really enjoy, and I love this a lot more than Golden Hour, that I know a lot of people still hold as her highest regard. I don't know, for me, I feel like this is her most mature work. It's her most realized work. I feel like she's taken a lot of what she was playing around and experimenting with on past albums and kind of realizing it on this one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This one is an album that I've been like listening to early in the morning and late in the evening. I don't need something that's blowing down the doors at like 8 a.m., but I still want some good vibes, and very similarly in the evening, I just need something to unwind to and kind of relax to, and so it fills both of those needs for me. So yeah, in the end, I will say Deeper Well by Kasey Musgrave is one that I would absolutely pick up in physical format. Now, I recognize that this album isn't for everybody, and I recognize that this album probably isn't for like 90% of my viewership on my channel, but this was also an album that I wanted to showcase and let people know, because I've been listening to this more than a lot of the big, deep prog and metal stuff that I've been listening to all year. So yeah, I at least wanted to showcase this and give this album the notoriety that it deserves, since it's been taking so much of my real estate in my brain. Like, I was originally going to put this on the last Big 20 album roundup that I did on Monday, but I just could not stop listening to it, so I actually removed it from the list so that I could talk a full album review with you guys for it. So yeah, I hope you guys will check it out. I really do. This gets the notes of approval, and I hope that you guys will check it out. So that's my thoughts for Deeper Well from Kasey Musgrave. What did you guys think about this record? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, please let me know by commenting down below. And that's what I've got for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.